All right, hey everyone. My name is Ofek Belkin, and I am an incoming MS2, and I am part of the SSC, and I will be teaching you guys a little bit about USMLE RX. This is a great platform to use, especially if you use first aid, which I'm sure you guys have heard is like the Bible of medical school. I'm going to be telling you guys about USMLE RX, specifically what it is that I use it for. And then I will tell you about other features that are available that you guys may like and you guys may very well use. And then I'll also explain about some of these resources, why I choose to use some more than others. So the first thing we're gonna get started here is when you log into USMLE RX, this is gonna be considered your dashboard. So once again, this is kind of like your home screen. Now, I'm just going to go down one by one and I'll explain everything to you guys, but I think it would probably be most beneficial if I explain it in a way as to like how I use USMLE RX. So the first thing I'm going to get started is with Browse First Aid. So this feature right here is literally exactly like First Aid, the textbook that you guys will most likely be using to capture all the high yield content. So as you can see here on the left side, it kind of sorts everything out by the same chapters as in USMLE RX. It starts off in the same order: biochem, immuno, microbiology, stuff like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into GI. So if you click on this, we'll click on the first section and you can see that this is the first part that pops up. And once again, I use the 2020 version. Yes, you can change it if you have the 2019, 2018, 2021, whatever it is. And you can see here page 358. So it's great because it is exactly a copy of First Aid. You don't have to carry it in your backpack or anything like that. You have access to this textbook wherever you are, as long as you're connected to the internet. So again, once you can see, pretty much everything, the textbook of First Aid is on your computer. Now, these three things right here on the side are also very helpful. Review video, that's called the express videos, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. QMAX questions, and this is the flashcards that they have for you. And once again, I will go over those in 1 second, and you guys will have a better understanding, but these are just one clicks away for the specific section that you need. So just know you have access to those. Now, another thing that's great about USMLE RX is, like I was saying, the express videos. So if you go to express videos, it shows you every single chapter again in First Aid in the same order. And you can choose the videos that you want taught to you in a way very similarly to Boards and Beyond. They often have students or doctors, residents that kind of talk to you about what it is that you want to know. So if I go ahead and I just check everything here, hit play all, and you can see that I kind of have a playlist over here going with this doctor right here explaining everything to us. So I'm just going to skip ahead, but you can see that they explain it a little bit differently than what's in the textbook, but at the same time, they go hand in hand with the textbook. So the same information that you see in the textbook is going to be explained to you in a better way than it might be written. But you're also going to get extra information that is not in the textbook, and therefore this is also a very helpful resource, especially when you're starting to learn. At the end, they have a review and a question. Some videos do, some videos don't, so this one did not, but you can you have access to kind of one of their questions that highlight the high yield content, as you see here in the video. With the answer, with the review at the end. So that's also very helpful. Another resource that I think is probably the main reason that I use USMLE RX is for the practice bank. So if you go to QMAX questions, you can create a test and you could choose the difficulty of questions, pretty much filter so many different ways. As you can see here, I think the easiest way to do, at least for the units, is to just go into the specific unit that you're going over. So you guys are starting with IHD, that's a little bit more complex, but once you go over to the next unit, it's going to be GI. So you just click this and you have all the questions already filtered out for you. That includes things that are not in the GI section, such as things, as you can see here on the left, that might be in the microbiology section. Things that might be in the pharmacology section, things like that. So pretty much we'll just go through here, hit GI, and create a test. You can name it whatever. You can either have it timed or untimed. I personally always use the tutor option, and I'll show you guys why in 1 minute. But I'm just going to hit one question, and we're going to create a test over that question. And as you can see here, this is a similar demonstration of how you're going to see the questions on your own tests. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just answer a random question, random answer, and you can see here that tells you, oops, try again. So let's just click down. There we go. That's the right answer. And it does a great job of kind of telling you the steps as to how to think about the questions, which is very helpful. So I'm going to hit the show more option right here. And as you can see, step one kind of gives you a background as to why this answer is the right answer. Next, it kind of tells you even more information about that, followed by why the other answers themselves are incorrect, as you can see right here. And then once again, kind of gives you another very similar description as to why each answer is right or wrong, as well as a distribution of answers. And then it tells you like a take-home message of what you should learn by doing this question. Now, at the bottom here, they offer RX bricks, which I will explain right after this. But you can also see here that they reference exactly the page in first aid with which the information that you need to answer the question is found. So as you can see here, first aid, the 2020 edition, on page 132, you would have this in your textbook, and it'll give you all the information that you need right over here, as well as other information that you might need to draw the right answer from. Afterwards, you can end the block, and it'll show you pretty much how you compare to other people. It tells you your average time per question, the difficulty of the questions, and whether you got them right or wrong. So if you would have gotten it right, you'd have like a green chart right here. How you do by organ system, by subject. So it does a very good job of telling you what you need to work on and what are your strengths. Now, as promised, I'm going to be talking a little bit about RX Bricks. So RX Bricks is a great platform to learn the information for the first time. So as you can see here, we're going to go through the GI just to be consistent. So once again, you can see that they have 57 sections that should take you, I saw the time somewhere, 16 hours to complete. Now, given that this whole unit takes about a month, if not more, that's plenty of time to cover all the information, so don't stress yourselves out over that. But we'll start over here on anatomy of the GI tract, and you can see that they give you learning objectives. They also give you a case, which is a great way of kind of applying the hard content that you're learning and how that applies to answering questions, to patient care, to clinical practice, and so on. Now, as you can see here, it's kind of like a textbook with quizzes and everything like that. So you can go ahead and click different structures, however you want to use it. You can see all the different information over here. And once we scroll down a little bit more, you can see over here that they have a quiz for you with what you just read. Some of you guys may choose to use this. Some of you guys may not choose to use this. You guys are probably wondering whether I use this. I personally choose not to. And the reason is I use to learn the information Firecracker instead. Because that is goes directly with the objectives that we are given from faculty, it's easier to learn from Firecracker on a week-by-week basis, rather than kind of using this feature and going out of order. Once again, some of you guys may choose to use this, and that's totally fine. Everyone is different in medical school, so don't think that just because I use this or I don't use this, you guys have to use it or not use it as well. The other section that I want to go over is flash facts right here. And this is very similar to Anki. So we're just going to go next step and just check GI and create a deck for the most part. You can put however many cards you want. And as you can see here, it kind of takes the things in first aid and gives you flashcards with spaced repetition, which is a great way of not only learning, but also retaining new information. So what structures lie within the hepatoduodenal ligament? You'll click this and they'll tell you all of these different things. And then you can kind of filter it based on how well you know it, or if you don't know it, so on and so forth. So we'll just say okay. But if you guys caught on, it also references a specific part in first aid with which this is found. So once again, first aid 2020 edition on page 392, you'll have the information necessary to answer this question right here. So again, what serologic marker is elevated? And you can see right here, where is it? Alpha fetoprotein, which happens to be our answer. Now, whether I use this or not, I personally do not use this as well. And the reason that I do not use this is because I use onking instead. And the reason that I choose to use the onking deck, is because it incorporates not only this, I guarantee you guys that there are flashcards over the exact same content, but it also includes things from Sketchy, from Pathoma, Boards and Beyond, so on and so forth. So I think that onking deck is a more comprehensive deck for all the information that you're required to know, and not only the high yield things that you can find in first aid. Now, don't get me wrong, knowing the high yield information can probably get you through a test, but again, it's easier if you know more than just the high yield. So I'm just gonna go back to the dashboard. That kind of concludes everything. You can see over here again, you can create like different goals for yourself. This is like the question banks, how your stats are, so on and so forth. As you can see, I've barely touched this, very little. But overall, I just want to say USMLE RX is an amazing resource, definitely 10 out of 10 in my opinion, for having access to the high yield information in first aid, to having videos that you might not understand just by reading. It's a great way of learning new materials. And of course, the practice questions are very, very helpful, especially before a test when you want to kind of comprehend where you stand. And if you get questions right or wrong, they tell you why you're right or why you're wrong and why the other answers are wrong. So overall, I think it's a great, very, very comprehensive way of surviving medical school. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Available again, you can reach me through GroupMe, you can email me. Yeah, once again, if you guys forgot my name, it's Ofek Belkin. And if you guys really need help, feel free to reach out.